Welcome back to Al Chapo Sports, everyone's least favorite sports show where we do the thinking so you don't have to. Getting on today with another top 10 of the NFL after week 8. I believe it's 8. I'm 90% sure it's 8. Yes, I'm confident it's 8. Anyway, moving on to these top 10, let's get right into it. Number 10, we've got the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks beat the Cleveland Browns, who are a decent team themselves. They've got a record of 5-2. They've been kind of hit and miss this season, but 5-2 is nothing to shake a stick at. That's a solid record. They're doing well. I don't know. There's a very good chance that they could make the playoffs either on a wild card or even as the division champion because, as we're going to talk about with our next team, how the mighty have fallen, the San Francisco 49ers. At one point undefeated, at 5-0, the consensus best team in the NFL, now is on a 3-loss losing streak. They just lost to Cincinnati, who aren't the worst team in the world, but aren't, I'd say, elite either. So the Niners, they are rapidly sinking ship. I know this sounds more negative and positive for a top 10 teams list, but they are still, talent-wise, a top 10 caliber team. But they are on a very rapid decline. Once they were the undisputed number 1, now they are holding on to a top 10 spot. So moving on to number 8, another team who I thought was a top 10 caliber team who is now on the decline. The Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are one of the worst teams in the league. They are a divisional game which you cannot afford to lose, and yet the Chiefs lost to this horrendous opponent they absolutely should have mopped the floor with. And now they have to deal with the ramifications of losing a divisional game. They're still 6-2. They're still on the top of their division. But this is not a good look for them. If this is a sign of things to come, I am worried for the Chiefs. Moving on to number 4, the Cowboys. The Cowboys got a win against the Rams, who are a pretty middle-of-the-pack team. They have a record of 5-2. The Cowboys are just possibly the most okay team in the league. They're not super, super elite, nor are they super bad. I think they're kind of mid and just having a good little streak of luck with all these wins. We'll see how they fare against their divisional rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. But moving on to number 6, the Lions. The Lions got a W against the Raiders, who are a pretty bad team. If you watched NFL Hell, you'll realize just how bad of a team they are. And if you haven't watched that, what are you even doing with your life, man? But going on, the Lions have a 6-2 record. They are clearly the best team in their division, which almost guarantees them a spot in the playoffs. It will just be a matter of seeing how far these Motor City guys can go. But moving on to the top half of our list, we get to number 5, the Buffalo Bills. They got a win against the Buccaneers, who are a pretty average team. They've been in the top 10 lists at some point of this year. They have a 5-3 record. The Bills, the story of the Bills is, as has always been, inconsistency. Sometimes they're the most elite team in the league, and sometimes they're absolutely horrible. They cannot be consistently that team, which is why they are at 5 and not any higher. Moving on to number 4, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got a win against Pittsburgh, who's not a great team. In fact, they're pretty mediocre. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have secured a record of 6-2, top of their division. And looking at the rest of their division, I'd say they are a shoo-in to the playoffs. We'll see just how far these Jacksonville Jaguars can go. I'm rooting for you guys. Go break some eggs. Moving into the top 3, the elite of the elite in the NFL. We've got number 3, the Dolphins. The Dolphins are an absolute juggernaut of a team. They got a win against divisional rival, the New England Patriots this week, improving their record to 6-2. They do have some competition for that playoff spot with the Bills, whom they've already lost to once this season, but we will see how they fare in the rematch. But as of right now, I am high on the Dolphins. I think they have the ability to make the AFC Championship, if not the Super Bowl, and who knows, maybe they could even win it all. But number 2, we have the Baltimore Ravens. These Ravens, you all, are on a tear. They are 6-2. They got a win against the Cardinals, who, granted, are one of the worst teams in the NFL. But they are looking better and better each week. They are at the top of their division. I don't see them losing that division spot anytime soon. So they're a shoo into the playoffs, and I think they easily make the AFC Championship, if not the Super Bowl. They have some tough competition in the AFC playoff picture with the Dolphins and potentially, the Chiefs. But these Ravens, they are absolutely murdering it. Second best, well-deserved spot here. But moving on to number 1, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly, as they say. They got a win over divisional rival Washington, which solidifies even more their likeliness to make the playoffs. I think they'll even make the playoffs as the number 1 seed. I think they're a shoo-in for the NFC Championship and possibly even a shoo-in to the Super Bowl. They have a 7-1 record. That's the best in the entire NFL. And what is there even to say? They started great and they're getting better. It's a frightening prospect how good this team is. And if you look at the wins on their resume, it's a scary thing if you are not a Philadelphia fan. So, Eagles, number 1, much deserved. But that's all I've got for you this time, guys. Comment down below. Tell me who you think the top 10 teams are in the NFL after Week 8. And like this video, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys next time.